want to welcome everybody to the Fall 2018 orientation for Virtual Virginia. My name is Tom Landon. I am the Director of Instruction at Virtual Virginia. We also have with us Sarah Warnick, who is our instructional supervisor. And we've got several teachers, I believe, who are also here, and their main role is going to be to help answer questions on the side. And one of those questions I noticed, folks, is that one of the students is having difficulty hearing. Perhaps you can guide her through the audio setup. So I did just want to share the poll with you to start out. We did this as people were coming in. And so as you can see, most of the people here in this session, it is their very first time taking a course with Virtual Virginia. And most students take courses with us because it's not offered at their school, but you can see that there are other reasons as well. I'll stop sharing that and close the poll. Again, just want to welcome you all to this session. And sorry if that poll was just showing 0%. It should have shown more. Not sure what happened there, but it doesn't really matter for what we're doing. You are the first group of students to go through Virtual Virginia in this school year. We do have a summer school program that was very well attended this year. Just want to walk us through here. So welcome to Virtual Virginia. We are the Virginia Department of Education's online program. This is a publicly funded program. We look forward to working with you, not this summer, but it is still summer. So during this school year, we want you to have a successful experience. So we are just here today to help you get started. And this is like when you go to your back to school night at your school. You aren't going to get to learn everything about each class you're going to take, but you should have a pretty good sense of how things work, and we may walk you through a course if we have some time at the end. What we want to cover today is the Virtual Virginia model, some keys to student success, the honor code, and not just for summer session. You might have noticed that we are using we are repurposing a presentation we used for summer, so that's why you may see the word summer pop up in there occasionally. We want to talk about our late work policy that is system-wide, how you get help, how you log in using our Genius information system, and how to use our learning management system, which is called Canvas. So two things to note right off the bat. If you hear your teacher or counselor or someone else talking about Genius, that is the student information system. That's where you'll be able to go and get a quick snapshot of your grades, and it's where you'll see the courses that you're enrolled in, but then you actually log in from there into Canvas, which is our learning management system. Some of you may have used Canvas before, and if you have, that will be helpful to you. And then last, we'll go over some important dates in the course. So when we talk about how Virtual Virginia works, people often wonder, well, how does that work? What is Virtual Virginia? I get asked that all the time when I'm out talking to people. And the essential idea is that at the heart of everything is that we're focused on student success, and we use innovative technology. We began using satellite television in the late 1990s. Here, I will turn my camera on as well so you can see me. Oh, sorry, went forward. And so we began using this program came out of the instructional television movement of the 80s and 90s, and then moved online with the dawn of the internet. So we have been around a while. We've been a fully online school since 2006. And we try to innovate and use the new technology on a regular basis. The focus of it is that student autonomy, the ability for the student to guide their own learning within a structure. You are not, it is not self-paced. You are not left out there on your own. You do have a really qualified instructor, but if you want to work at 2 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning or at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the course will be available to you during that time. Our curriculum is carefully curated, and we have a curriculum department that keeps an eye on our curriculum and is always working to improve it. And that idea is that you do have access to your course 24/7. You don't have access to your teacher 24/7, but you will have regular access to your teacher as well. Some keys to student success. First of all, you have to treat it like a real class. This is not something you can do, one day a month. You cannot, you can't expect to work super far ahead. Some of your teachers will allow you to work a little bit ahead, but it's not something that you're going to be, you are going to be working daily in your course. And by daily, we mean during the school week. And of course, it's open to you during the weekend if you need it. Communicate with your teacher when you need assistance. When you meet your teachers, they will communicate with you what their office hours are. We have two kinds of teachers at Virtual Virginia. We have full-time teachers, and they're going to be available 8 to 3 for you, or 8 to 4 every day. And then the adjunct instructors that we employ are going to have office hours every single day, generally outside of school time, and you will need to make appointments with them to communicate with them. But whether that's by email or phone, all of our teachers have toll-free phone numbers. I just encourage you to reach out to your teachers. Being organized is really important. If you're not organized, I was not an organized student as a student. I'm still not the most organized person in the world, but I can tell you that if you have an organizational system, whether that be a calendar, whether that be a binder that you keep, whether it's an online calendar, always know what is expected of you during the week. Do the reading. All of our courses are going to require some reading, either in a book or online. Work early on assignments. If you wait until the day something is due, it may be more involved than you think. So working early on them is important. And respect the deadlines. We'll go over our late policy with you so that you understand what the penalties are if you don't do that. But we want everybody to just respect those deadlines and get the work done on time. And your teacher is going to provide you pacing information. This week we're doing this. You should complete this assignment by Tuesday. By the end of the week we will have done this much. And you really need to follow that. And these live sessions that your teachers will have regular live sessions, and attending them is sometimes required, often not required, but highly recommended. They can be recorded so you can watch them later if you're unable to attend live. Sarah, would you like to talk about the handbook?
Sure, I'd be happy to jump in. Hi, everyone. I'm the instructional supervisor with Virtual Virginia, and just wanted to quickly greet you all. The student parent handbooks share all of the information that students need about the program and about communication, as well as our policies. These are accessible on our main webpage, and in just a moment I'll put that link right into the chat for you. So if you go to the Students and Parents tab, it will show at the very bottom course access where you can log in, and then the Student and Parent Handbook. We do encourage you to sit down, take a look at the handbook, read through the information there prior to the start of class, ask questions of your instructors, and reach out as you have questions. Thank you, Chris, for posting that. So please reach out as you have questions. We will talk about some of the important features in that handbook, a report that goes out, the early warning system, and the late policy. But all of this information is accessible on our main website.
I will jump in here as the director of instruction and talk about the honor code for a minute. One question we often get is, how do you make sure that students are behaving ethically and upholding academic integrity? And first of all, we know that our students are good students, and we know that there are opportunities in an online course to be tempted to not do your own work. We do have tools that our teachers use that we don't go into a lot of detail about to detect cheating. We can tell, for instance, if you're taking a quiz and you are clicking out of that quiz to go search in another window. We have plagiarism tools to detect plagiarism. But essentially, we would like you to, you will agree when you enroll in your course, and when you get into your class, in each class you take, you will sign an agreement, a digital signature on an agreement that says that you will verify that the work on each assignment is yours, that you will not plagiarize in any form. If you ever have any questions about whether something is allowed, please ask your teacher instead of asking for forgiveness later. Do not copy another student's work, and do not misuse content from the internet. So that is our honor code, and we do expect that all students will abide by it. And when violations of that occur, it is a serious matter, and we do refer it to the school, the local school, for discipline. We hope to never have that happen. It does happen occasionally, but your quizzes and tests, many of them will be password protected and proctored by a mentor at your school. And that is another kind of safety feature that we have. And there have been cases where students have maybe not followed the honor code perfectly while doing assignments, and then they have to take a quiz and it's password protected and they don't know the material. And so that will end up being reflected in your final grade. So let's just all abide by the honor code. Our late work policy is across the board in Virtual Virginia. First of all, the EWS, which hopefully you won't become familiar with that acronym, but it stands for Early Warning System. And if a student is below 70%, when we do a sweep of grades every 2 weeks, an email will go to the students, the parents, the counselor, and the school mentor, indicating that that student is below 70%. Now, it will not have their student's actual grade on it, but then the parents and the counselors and the mentors are able to log in and see what that actual grade is. And we will, if it becomes a recurring problem, we will take steps to work with the students to get them back where they need to be. Our late work policy is that any work that is anywhere from a minute late to a week late is a 15% deduction. 1 week to 2 weeks late, that is a 30% deduction. After 2 weeks, that is accepted at the discretion of the teacher, who may decide not to accept it. If they do accept it, there will be a deduction of points. And if assignment is more than 2 weeks late and you want to turn it in, that request has to come from your school counselor. So that is our policy. It is universal across every course that we teach. And hopefully this won't be an issue for you. Now, our teachers are kind. If you know something's going to be late, I always recommend reaching out to the teacher in advance, letting them know the reason and seeing if you can work something out. But otherwise, this deductions are going to be counted. I see the question there, just asking is there a way to watch this? We are recording this session, and we will make a recording available to everyone. So again, who can help you? It can be daunting when you take an online course, especially if you've never taken one before, and your first week can be really stressful. You'll feel like you're behind already. You probably aren't. But we will get you going. We have been doing this a long time, and I promise you we will get you where you need to be if you're having difficulty. So if you have questions, first of all, you have a mentor at the school, and that person is a good person to ask. You also have your instructor, who is probably the best person to ask. If something's not working right on the site, if you are having difficulty, if you don't understand a question, then I would strongly recommend that you first call your instructor. The help desk is also available, and Mr. Wyatt from the help desk is here with us today. That is a phone number that will be in your course, and you can call that number especially if there's something technical that is going wrong. Otherwise, it's probably best to call your teacher. But if you have a technical difficulty, something's not working and you don't know why, the help desk is there to help you as well. Sarah, I'm going to let you take over for discussion of the student information system.
All right, so Genius is where you log in. When you go to the main website, you'll see a login in the upper right-hand corner. When you sign on to Genius and you sign into the Virtual Virginia site, it takes you to a dashboard. The dashboard will show you grades, and actually the next slide, and then I can talk you through. This is the dashboard when you log into the course. So this is a fictional student, Peter Parker. He is enrolled in Bathing. You'll see that the course pops up right in the middle under the academic snapshot, and that is where students will go to log into the course. By clicking right on that link, it takes you directly into your course. Over on the left-hand side, you'll notice that there are a couple different options. There's an option to send a message to your teacher, to contact the Virtual Virginia help desk, where you can get technical help, as well as information about others and your grade book. Your grade book will show all of the grades that you've earned for those courses. So if you are taking multiple courses, and we do have some students who take more than one course with Virtual Virginia, you'll be able to easily navigate between your courses. In the middle, under the academic snapshot, each of the courses that you would be taking, if you're taking multiple courses, would present in a list right in the middle. We're going to take you into a view of what the messages look like. You have a couple different ways to send messages. You can send messages to your teachers through Genius. Again, you would just click on the messages icon over or the option over on the left-hand side. It will bring up the option to send a message to your teacher. It's automatically populated in the drop-down feature, and then you can type your message just like you would a normal email and send it. That's one way. Also, when you were registered for the course, you provided an email address to your teacher. Your teachers will be using that to communicate with you as well. So there are a couple different ways to get in touch just through messaging. We go on to the next one. So again, the main thing to know when you log into Genius is to click right directly on that live link in the center of the page, and that will take you straight into your course. Your passwords are going to come from your school counselor. So contact them. They have access to your login and your password. You can retrieve on the main login page a forgotten password using the email that was used for registration. So that is an option. So definitely make sure to check that and to use that. But contact your local school counselor for your login information. Mr. Linden, did you want to talk about the
Yeah,
LMS?
I can do this. And again, just if you have taken classes with us before, our learning management system has changed this year. And that is it's exciting. It's a little frustrating at first. So if you've used courses with us before, trust us, it will work. Canvas works really well. Some of you may already use it in your local schools. It's a very popular and kind of prolific tool in local school divisions. So LMS stands for Learning Management System. According to Canvas, the recommended browsers are Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Explorer 11. I personally favor Chrome, but it is designed to work with all of these others as well. In each course, you will find modules. Modules are like units of study. And your teacher will guide you through the modules, and you go through them from the start of the course to the end. Your grades can consist of assignments. It could be something you turn in, a document you turn in, or a test or quiz that you take, or you may be graded on discussions or other projects. The way we calculate grades at Virtual Virginia that we have made a slight change this year. We used to have these 4 grade categories. We have improved and streamlined that so that there is a grade for semester 1, there's a grade for semester 2, and there is a final exam that is worth 10%. So each semester is worth 45%, and your grade in that semester will be based on your percentage of the total points available. And then there's a final exam at the end. In terms, I see your question there, Daniel. That's a good question, asking about no midterms. There may be cumulative tests, but there's not going to be a separate grade item for a midterm. So at the end of the term, your semester, your teacher may have a cumulative test that's part of it or a paper that's due, but it's not going to show up on your report card as a separate grade item. It's not going to show up in the student information system, Genius, as a separate grade item. Also in the Canvas LMS, you will find that you will always know what's due because of the calendar and the due dates tools that we have. So when you log into your course, and again, these courses will not be active until Monday morning at 8 o'clock, so you will not be able to access them today, even if you have your username and password now. You won't be able to access the course until Monday morning. And so you will see home, modules, grades, and announcements on your course homepage. And you should make sure, double check look at your announcements, see if your teachers made any announcements right to let you know. You can always click grades and access your grades on everything that you've done, just as you can also see them in Genius. But in Canvas here in the course, you'll actually see them in more detail, and you'll be able to see feedback the teachers have given you and that sort of thing.
Mr. Laney, let me jump in
Yes,
for just
please.
a moment. I'm going to cycle back to something that was mentioned about browsers. It's a good rule of thumb to have access to 2 browsers. Sometimes browsers will behave a little bit differently with the interactives. Our courses are very rich. And so, for example, if for some reason Chrome is not allowing you to bring up your flashcards, it's always a good rule of thumb to bring up a different browser and try it there. And sometimes things will work on Firefox that don't behave well in Chrome. So what we recommend is that you have 2 browsers available.
That's great advice, and we have often found that to be the case. If there's maybe a website that a teacher is linking out to that's not within our system, and it might require something that plays better on one browser than another. So that's an excellent point. Once you're in Canvas, if you have multiple courses, you'll have access to those here as well on the Canvas homepage. One key to note is that when you are in a module, the easiest way to navigate through the modules, and they are in an organized order. So it's good to use the next button and the previous button and not just try to go into modules and click around and try to find what you want. If you follow the order and the sequence that your teacher has laid out for you, you will be much happier, I guarantee it. I see a question. The question about, will course stop temporarily while official school is on break? We do take a holiday break we do take a winter break. We do take a spring break. Our spring break may not line up with your spring break exactly. Your teachers will work with you in that case if your spring break is a week before or after ours. We do have ways to make that work for you. Again, when you're in the grades, this is what it's going to look like. You will see the grade, and you will see your score. And if you click on that, you also may be able to find some other information from your teachers. And this is available to you all the time. One of the beauties of online learning versus face-to-face learning is that you always have access to this. You don't have to wait for the teachers to update something on your, if you have PowerSchool or some other application at school, that parent portal. These are updated in real time all the time. So when a teacher grades something, you will be able to see that it's been graded. So here's a question that I saw some of you asking about, and it was about end of course tests. Our final exams are not substitutes for AP exams. They are not substitutes for SOL exams. They are required of all students. There is no exemption based on your local school grade. If your school system says if you have an A or a B, you don't have to take the final, that rule does not apply with us. You do have to take the final exam or you will lose 10% of your total grade, which can be catastrophic. So we do require that every student take a final exam. In some courses, those are papers. In some courses, those are multiple choice assessments. Those vary. But you will complete a final exam. You must take it. But your AP exams, your SOL tests, if you take a WISE test, which is given in many divisions for students who take the economics personal finance course, those are administered by your local school according to your local schedule. So that's something you want to talk to your counselor on about, okay? Is that everybody clear on final exams? This is something that comes up a lot. We're trying to get it out of the way now. Sometimes a student will say, well, I didn't take the exam because I was exempt. Well, you weren't exempt from us. So just want to make sure everybody's clear on that.
I'm going to jump in just in response to a question from a student about Canvas. Canvas is the learning management system that we use where all of our courses are housed. When you log into Virtual Virginia, again, you'll see that dashboard with a list of links directly to your courses, and all you have to do is just click directly on that link. That takes you directly into the course.
So there's nothing you need to do to put your course on Canvas. Your course is in Canvas, and you will be given access to it on Monday morning, and you will always have access to it once you have access to it the first time. Hope that answers your question. And so going along with the question about dates and breaks and that sort of thing, um, our calendar is available. I saw someone posted the calendar in the chat earlier. So if you would like to look at that, it's also on our course page. And so today is the 8th, and we have an open house webinar for cohort 1 and cohort 4. Those are our first 2 start dates. They both start on the 13th. You will have your credentials available on the 10th, and some of your counselors may already have access to those. You will not be able to use them for anything until the 13th, when courses begin. We are closed Labor Day. We also have another fall break built into the calendar. We'll share that with you as we go forward. And the semester for cohort 1, which is the group of full year students, ends on December 14th. That may or may not line up exactly with your local school calendar, but that is when this course ends. And if you are in cohort 4, and that means that you're taking a 1 semester long course only, either a fall block course or a course that's taught only in the fall semester, that course will end on December 14th. Again, that may not match up exactly with your local school calendar. We do look at school calendars and try to find the best possible dates to start and finish that will match up with students. I see the question back and forth. People are saying, I have my class every other school day due to an AB schedule. That is okay. There's lots of students in that situation where they take a course for a whole year and it meets every other day. You still should log into the course every day if you can, if you have access at home. It's very helpful to have computer access at home. And your teachers will be posting the deadlines well in advance, so that it is expected that you will meet those deadlines even if you don't have class that day. So if there's a test that's due on Wednesday and you have class on Tuesday and Thursday, you need to take that test on Tuesday. And some of the other confusions that come about is our courses are what we call asynchronous. And asynchronous courses mean that they're not taught in real time. Your teacher is available to you in real time, and many of you will speak to your teacher on a regular basis, especially those of you taking world language, but others as well, either on the phone or using tools that we have online. So it doesn't really matter what time of day you take the class. Your teacher is going to be available to you, and you can work on it during that time. It's not like we have a bell schedule. Okay, and I believe that is no, we have another slide or two. Okay, again, when we mentioned who you get in touch with, I am Tom Landon. I'm the Director of Instruction. These you can access these as well from our website. Sarah Warnick is the Instructional Supervisor. Think of me as like an assistant superintendent kind of, and think of Sarah as a little bit more like a principal. And Ms. Young is our registrar. Your counselor will be in touch with that registrar with some frequency, and that's the person who helps you get registered. And then Mr. Wyatt, Chris Wyatt, runs our help desk. And we are, just so you know, we all work remotely. We do not have an office. Sometimes people say, I'd like to come meet you at your office. Right now I have a dog laying beside me in my own office, but I don't think you really want to come visit me at my office. So so that is just sometimes people have a hard time wrapping their heads around it. We are a program of the Department of Education. The teachers are not available. I mean, you can email a teacher 24/7. I see that question. That doesn't mean that they will answer the phone 24/7, but if you're they will have hours that are posted, and you can you can certainly email outside of hours and they will get it in the morning. During those office hours, you are free to call them with a toll-free number. Yeah, that's a great point. If you're going to have a real teacher, and your teachers are going to host welcome sessions here in the coming days after schools, right? I think they will be reaching out to you after this session, sometime between now and Monday. You should get an email from your teacher, and they will give you a time that their welcome session is going to happen, and they will walk you through more specifically through their own course and set any other expectations that they have. And with that, it is 2:30. My goal was to be done by 2:30. So we have come to the conclusion through the course. I'm looking in the QA, which is not in the chat. I noticed a couple people posted there. Someone said we're getting new passwords, but I just tried my old one. It works. That it may work to get you into the old system, Kaylee, but I don't believe it's going to allow you to access the course in Genius. Mr. Wyatt may have more to say about that. And someone else said, how many classes do we take a day? That's up to you. Depends on how many classes you're registered for. If you're registered for 6 classes, you would be at least checking into each of those classes every day. All right, I'm going to stop the recording, but we will all stay here to answer your questions. Okay, and Chris says, if you can log into virtualvirginia.org with your old password, you're good to go. I should say, the login, you go to virtualvirginia.org, and there is a link at the top of the page that says log in. That is how you get into our system. And Mr. Wyatt says, if you're logging into the Virtual Virginia, I think it's virtualvirginia.d2l.com. That will not work this year, so that will not help you. It has been a pleasure to be with you all here today. I hope that you have a successful year with Virtual Virginia. Please do reach out if you need anything. And again, I'm going to stop the recording, but we will stay here if anybody else has any questions. We will post a link to this recording either on our website or we will email it to you. I'm not quite sure what we decided we will do, but we will make sure it's available. Thank you so much.